caused a lot of controversy about a month ago, Luke, with that front page overdose of Roma. Now, during the summer, the Roma population and the indigenous French travelling population, they move around more, so it creates more of an issue about the whole notion of Roma, and the political aspects of it get discussed more by politicians. And of course, there is a risk that the population is stigmatized and people take their concerns, whatever they might be, too far. So this front page neatly summed that up, I suppose, as an issue. And you can see also on that front page a caravan with a kind of a line through it. And a lot of people made the point at the time on social media and elsewhere, if you substituted Roma for another, for example, Jewish or Arabic, whatever, other parts of the French population, it would straight away be seen as completely unacceptable and racist. So why should it be acceptable for the Roma community? Now, their most recent, this is, by the way, a front cover on the same issue, a study into the Roma population, much more measured about the social issues, integration issues, etc., social questions. That was, I think, just 2 years ago. Now, Le Lab d'Europe, which is a French politics website linked to Europe 1 Radio, went and spoke with the managing editor of the newsroom, asking, look, what's going on here? Because its most recent front page, actually, if I could find it, is about Marine Le Pen and how a third of French voters feel that they are close to her ideas. So they said, look, are you actually just turning into a far-right magazine? Now, just to give you a sense of what far-right magazines in France look like, Minute is the notorious far-right magazine. Here is a front cover about Valerie Trierweiler's German origins, and she's kind of doing a Heil Hitler salute there, which is obviously a completely provocative and over-the-top and unacceptable front page, really. This was a recent front page of Minute about the gay marriage issue. There you go, that's what all homosexuals look like, apparently, according to Minute. So in any case, they wanted to figure out if Valeurs Actuelles was turning into that sort of a magazine, kind of close to far-right ideas. Now, what the editor has said is, look, we have made a decision since the new editor came in, a guy called Yves de Kerdrel, in 2012, to have provocative front pages, shock front covers. They explain it by saying, look, in the news kiosk, we're between, business magazines and Jeune Afrique, which is an African news magazine. We have to make ourselves stand out. And Yves de Kerdrel's explanation was, look, if you're the small guy at the back of the class, you've got to be a bit insolent and make yourself noticed. Now, I think that's a pretty rubbish way of legitimizing or explaining what is a policy to stigmatize and to shock in such a way that it could make racist remarks, racist thoughts a bit more acceptable in French society. I don't think that's much of an excuse, but that's the excuse he's proffering to Le Lab.
Indeed, selling papers, but at what moral cost?
Exactly.
Moving now to just a perhaps more celebrated French newspaper, the satirical this time. That's the Canard Enchaîné, pretty much irritating the Japanese government. Somewhat, it doesn't have the biggest circulation, but apparently they're paying attention in Tokyo.
Well, that's right. I think somebody at their embassy must have got onto the government, because it comes out on a Wednesday. So just 24 hours later, the Japanese government has officially reacted to 2 cartoons in the satirical weekly. One shows a sort of 2 guys wearing nuclear protective clothing or radiation protective clothing by the swimming pool. This is all in reference to the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. So that's sort of poking fun at radiation and the water in Japan. The next one here shows sumo wrestlers looking a bit skinny and unhealthy. It's sort of typical Canard Enchaîné humour, i.e. tasteless and taking it too far. But the Japanese government was not impressed. They said, we're going to speak to the Japanese embassy directly, who will relay our concerns to the Canard Enchaîné. This comes about a year after another incident where the Japanese were not impressed by French humour. After a friendly football match between the French and the Japanese, it was a 0-0 draw. The Japanese goalkeeper was particularly talented, and here he is with many hands and again many arms rather, and that was again a sort of a tasteless joke about Fukushima on the Laurent Ruquier French television show. So there you go. Again, the French government spokesman said, not funny.
James Cruden, thank you very much for that update of what's been making waves on the web. That's France 24's Media Watch. Time now for the business update with Marcus Carlson.